Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the networking day of Global Islamic Finance Forum, GIFF 2025. And for that, I would like to really appreciate everyone to take your seats as we're going to begin our first session this morning shortly. But before that, here are some important housekeeping announcements for your kind attention. First and foremost, participants are not allowed to bring any foods or beverages into the auditorium. Smoking is strictly prohibited in Sasana Kijang except at the designated area, which is near the security post and entry point at LG4 and KMC Terrace area. In the unlikely event that we need to evacuate, kindly proceed to ground floor lobby of Sasana Kijang. And last but not least, appreciate if you could turn your mobile phones and smart devices into silent mode to avoid any interruption throughout the event today. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and salam Malaysia Madani. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cybersecurity Track Networking Day GIFF 2025. My name is Zamir Asfar, and I am glad to be part of this event as your master of ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this track is held as part of the networking days in conjunction with GIFF 2025, brought to you by AIBIM and Cybersecurity Malaysia. So that, can we give a round of applause to AIBIM and Cybersecurity Malaysia? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to kick off this cybersecurity track, please join me to welcome Technologist Wan Roshaimi Wan Abdullah, Chief Technology Officer, Cybersecurity Malaysia, onto the stage. Please welcome. Technologist Wan Roshaimi will speak on resilience in finance, adopting cybersecurity to an evolving threat landscape. Over to you, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you, Zamil Asfa, our MC for today. How is everybody? Alhamdulillah, it's good to hear. And I would like to welcome everyone again to the session, and a very good morning to our distinguished guests, fellow colleagues, some familiar faces as well, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's very privileged for me to be here to address and give a bit of introduction into a very important topic that we are all facing today. We live in a time where digital finance moves very, very fast, faster than the policy, faster than the regulations, and sometimes faster than our defenses. Each innovation, from digital payments to open banking, from AI-driven risk models to decentralized finance, opens lots of opportunities, lots of open opportunities. However, it also comes with lots of new vulnerabilities. In 2025 alone, global financial institutions are facing over 70% of the world's daily cyber attack volume. And closer to home, in Malaysia and ASEAN, banks and fintechs experience more than 1,000 attempted intrusions every single day. So as we drive into transformation and financial inclusion, there are one question that we should all be asking ourselves. Are we building for convenience, or are we building for resilience? And I think that's the topic that we're going to share today. If I can have, okay. And so it's important to understand when it comes to talk about resilience in cybersecurity, it's very, very important to understand the threat landscape, the evolvement of threat landscape, etc. And for today, we will share with you on the evolution of threat landscape and what happens, some of the cases that we have. And also, since we are in financial, we cannot run away from fraud cases. So we're going to be talking about fraud as well. Some statistics and more information, how can we defend from that. So as we move into this very interconnected world, if you can see from the slides. Okay, so we have, if we can just focus in Malaysia, we have about 34 million people are using the internet, which is a very good thing. And it's about 97%, it's almost 100% of Malaysians are using the internet. And you know what that means? That means is that we are all connected to lots of new opportunities. You all know now that in financial world, we are being, I guess, bombarded with lots of digital banks these days. You know, you have Right Banks, you have GX, you have Aeon, and all these digital things that means all are all your fingertips. And the danger with this is that this is where you are connected to the other side of the world as well. The moment you are connected to the internet, you are connected to your social media, right? Are you not using different phone, or are you using the same phone doing your digital banking and surfing your social media? 2 phones? 1, right? So what I'm trying to say is that as we are more connected to the internet, we are actually exposing ourselves to all the issues in the internet, the issues of interconnected world that we are facing today. And it's even more salient that we have all these technologies that are coming. We have artificial intelligence, that's the buzzword of today. Everything is AI, and you know, it's no longer ChatGPT. I think people are talking more than just ChatGPT these days. There's so many tools, so many applications they are utilizing without realizing the risk that we are all facing. We talk about IoTs. We talk about 5G. I think 5G has been probably, from my perspective, is probably not much said now. Kind of less hype compared to the AI, even though 5G is actually the medium that we are connecting to all these things. And 5G alone is not safe from vulnerabilities as well. But there are people that are looking into it. So we have to know that 5G, and now we're talking about 6G is coming, even 7G, people start talking as well. They all come with some things, some vulnerabilities are coming with them. And this is another important thing as well. We're talking about quantum computers, and I strongly believe that people are in the audience today heard about this as well. We're talking about how do we handle our algorithms, encryption technologies that we're having today. Because with the likes of quantum computing, the capabilities of decrypting our current algorithm is just so real. It's happening now in a closed 4 doors probably, but when we go into 2030, as we move closer to 2030, the quantum computers are probably there. So when it's there, this is where the new vulnerabilities are coming. So the thing that I'm trying to say is that with all the new technologies that we're all facing, that we're all enjoying, its capabilities, all the applications that we can write on it, it all also bring to us a new set of risks and vulnerabilities. In fact, if you can look from the news of late, a number of things are happening, not only in Malaysia, but also globally. We look at a lot of cyber AI-driven attack that's being used. This is where understanding the use of new technology is not free. If you have heard of no such thing as free lunch. And this is it. The thing is that we are all enjoying these benefits without realizing, you know, the other side of it. You know, we are just human. We understand. All this today we talk about FOMO, right? You know, like fear of missing out. And iPhone 17 has just been launched. You know, that kind of thing. So when every new things that are on the internet, online, we are the first to download and install, and without realizing actually the risks that are coming along with that. And this is so important to understand with all this interconnectivity that we're having today, and what danger that it poses to us. The issues with all the devices that were connected, if we look at the statistics in terms of info stealer kind of thing. Every time you are downloading something one way or the other, you could probably be downloading, all these malwares along the way. They're probably harmless initially, but along the way, when they got what they want, then it's a matter of time that we are all, get impacted. And if you pause a bit, I mean, it's very important to just visualize this. If you see that the last probably 5 years, we have been seeing, I would say, a stable, a very constant cyber attacks to the country, globally, locally as well. And it may not come by chance, right? It's a strategy, it's a plan, that has been executed, has been planned properly. All the milestones have been achieved, and now is execution time. Of course, execution, you cannot run everything in a day. So it will take phases. First 6 months, let's do this. The second 6 months, let's do this. And this is probably the reason why globally we are all looking at a very constant issues of people get attacked, countries get attacked, associations, companies get ransom, and all the likes. Do you think this is by coincidence? It's probably not. It's probably because of all the things that had happened long time ago, probably 15 years back, the strategy that has been used, has been planned, and now the execution time. So this is where it's very, very important that for all of us here, and I believe all the practitioners, security practitioners here will know and will probably reflect, maybe food for thought as well. Is this what we are facing today? Not by chance, it probably has been planned. Let's talk about evolutions of cyber threats. I think there are numbers of things here you see from the password cracking, the malicious insider, and a number of other things as well. Today we talk about, as for this particular session, we heard a lot about scams, right? Financial fraud, financial scam. In fact, down the way, the slide, I have some statistics to show what are we collecting in Cybersecurity Malaysia. But the point is, the evolution is coming from simply password guessing, and now they're going into a bigger, more things, more complicated, sophisticated, AI-driven, and whatnot. But the point I want to raise, probably what I want to share here, is about the rise of these scammers, ransomware, and phishing. It's just so obvious that with the statistics that we will be seeing later, that this is not only a problem in Malaysia, but it is a problem in ASEAN and also elsewhere in the world. Unfortunately, ASEAN is kind of contributing, more than 2/3 of that issues globally. And that's why it's just important for us to know why us, why ASEAN has highest in the statistics. We have always been like number one in so many things, right? Except football, probably. But scams is something that is top of the world. We probably go second after Singapore, but it's just very alarming statistic that we all should be aware of. And it's just based on this World Economic Forum report, you can see the cause of the issues, the risks, the impact, the landscape that we're facing today is there are many factors that are contributing to this. Geopolitical tension is one of them. We have seen the past 2-3 years, at least, the war that is happening in the Middle East, in the Europe, and like it or not, this geopolitical tension has also led to cyber warfare as well. People are attacking each other. Incidents that are happening in our neighboring country, simple incidents even like Batik and whatnot, can cause people attacking us. And it's so easy that people can just deface our websites. Why is that so? We talk about cybersecurity defense, cybersecurity for many, many years, probably more than 25 years now. And yet, when something happens, when there is geopolitical tensions, we are just being the victim. we thought we've done enough, right? Not only in us, in our neighboring countries as well. But that's not the case. And we have cybercrime sophistication. This is very much contributing as well to the increasing complex landscape that we're facing today. Let's talk about supply chain interdependencies. This is often an afterthought as well. Most people, I believe, in this audience as well, are coming maybe from a very, prestigious, well-known company and organization in which you have a very solid cybersecurity planning, cybersecurity strategy. But when it comes to flaws or gaps in cybersecurity, we are not only talking about your company, we are not only talking about you, about me, we are talking about the whole supply chain, the whole ecosystems. Are we not protecting our supply chain? We are not. Because if we are, lots of these cases can probably be mitigated and minimized. We've seen the issues of SolarWinds a few years back. The vendor that are providing maybe 90% of our monitoring system are being affected. So, that we are talking about a very prominent vendor. We're not talking about some small company down the road that probably don't have any IT guy. So interdependency in supply chain is very important. I think this is the right time that for all of you to actually start looking at knowing your vendors, who are your suppliers, and tightening all this, making them very resilient, not only complying to you, but complying to other things as well. We talk about later as well, we will see about Cybersecurity Act. I think this is about time that your suppliers are probably complying or adhering to some of these regulations as well. So that at the end of the day, what we want to achieve is that the whole ecosystem is safe. Of course, we will not achieve 100%, but we are in the know that every single thing that's happening to us, to our organization, we are in the know. We take thought of what's happening. We talk about AI and emerging tech. I mean, that's the problem. There's all this deepfake that has been, rampantly misused, etc. Regulatory requirements, I think this is one of very important, no doubt about it. And in Malaysia, we have been blessed with our Cybersecurity Act that now are targeting our entities, the critical entities, to be in compliance with. And I think in financial sector, thank God you have been complying to the RMIT for many years, and that shows the number of cases. If you go very specific in the news, probably you don't see that much coming from finance as well. That's not by coincidence as well. It's actually probably been planned out of the hard work that has been done by the financial sector. Another important point here is about the cyber skills gap. It's very important to also align having the right talent to address cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, based on our findings, we are looking the lack of about 16,000 personnel for this year, and we only have about 3 more months to gather this. And for the next 2026, the next year, we're looking about a gap of 26,000 people that needs to be trained to fill the gap that we're facing here in Malaysia. And this is almost similar statistic that we're facing globally as well. So talking about fraud, it's a very critical threat that going to be impacting the trust that we're going to be having. We're talking about human and financial impact. Put yourself where you have been scammed using the right tools, the right phones, the right gadget that you have, the right applications that has been tested, but at the end of the day, you got scammed as well. So that will bring impact into people that are using the belief, the trust they're going to be having about the systems, the application, or all the ecosystem that they are helping them to make sure that how can we trust to do digital banking this is, if you actually become the scam, the victim of that. And we're looking from the business and national implications as well. I'm sure you have heard about the statistics of the billions of ringgit has been lost due to this. And I think we have a slide on that as well. Yeah, it's just the next one. And we're talking about the emerging threat landscape. I mean, we talk about all these emergence of new technologies that brings also new risks and vulnerabilities. And just like to share as well, about 2 months back, I attended a sessions with a kind of a close group, and there are a company from financials services provider. They are sharing a statistic with us, and this is where I got to know that Malaysia contributed 2/3 of the global loss in scams, also financial scam as well, because this is coming from a financial service provider. So we are looking about, at least in Malaysia, we are looking, last year alone, more than 1.4 billion ringgit Malaysia. I'm sure probably not new to you. And if I'm not wrong, even today as we speak, maybe as of last month, probably about 1 billion ringgit Malaysia has been lost due to scams as well. It's very alarming. You know, we're talking about resilience, but year on year, we are looking at a gradual and significant percentage of growth in scam, which is not good. If you're talking about growth in your investment, etc., it's good, right? But we're talking about losses in scam. Something wrong that is happening that we're not doing right. Similarly, we're talking from the GSMA ASEAN report as well. We're looking at a number of things, and essentially we're looking about the trigger of scam as well. See, every aspect of the system that we're using, GSMA is looking at the medium that we are using. We're talking about the security of our base stations, our 3G or our 5G providers and whatnot. But essentially, when it comes to losses, it's impacting everybody. And statistics in that particular segment of areas are also talking about similar thing, the rise of scamming as well. And you can see that 67% worried consumers on digital scams and fraud. And again, this is to show that things that we have been doing for the last 15, 10, maybe 5 years, are that contributing to this? We talk about human being the weakest link, but at the same time, there are probably something else that we're not doing right. And this is where it happens today. And a bit more about the Malaysia incidents as well. In fact, we've seen a number of Malaysian companies have been impacted by ransomware attacks last year and this year. And that's based on the things that have been reported. And from year-on-year growth, we've seen an increase, a lot of increase in that as well, which is not good, something that we are not proud of, but that's happening. And from the other side of the world, that's what people like, you know, all the adversaries are looking, yeah, we are reaching our target. That's what we want to do. The adversary, the bad guy. And we are just part of it, contributing to this. And just to share from Cybersecurity Malaysia perspectives, we run an incident response, our Cyber 999. And as of September, there are about 6,000 incidents that has been reported to us. And over the years, I think a consistency of 5,000 to 6,000 cases that have been reported. And we are talking about the reported cases. Of course, you all know there are a lot more cases that probably are not being reported. But as of the September alone, we're almost reaching 6,000 already for this year. So we have about 3 more months to go, and you will see. And you will see the graph as well looking like kind of, oh, there's actually a decline in the number of cases reported. Yes, it is. However, based on the impact of the incident being reported, the complexities of the cases that are being reported is actually increasing. The loss of from the fraud, for example, is also increasing. And this is where, like, if you see, it's the top 4 incidents that are being reported is about the fraud, the malicious code, the intrusion as well, content related. And this is where, based on the half year of this year, the patterns of fraud incident, from the previous statistic, about 70% of the cases reported are actually fraud cases. And from the fraud incidents, we categorize into these particular categories. Phishing is number 1. And again, phishing is not new, right? I mean, because all of you here, from my understanding, we all know phishing. You probably having fished before as well, maybe from the simulation that has been done by your organization, but it's always there. It's not going to go away, because this is one of the best modus operandi that any adversaries can do. And if you relate this back to the first slide that we have, which is 97% of us, of Malaysians, are all connected to the internet. And lots of the phishing are happening from the interface when you are connected. When you're connected to your social media, your Facebook, Instagrams, TikTok, the fear of missing out, you tend to click things very fast. I want to download this, I want to buy this, without actually realizing, but that is the method that people use. You want to do this fast. It's you don't want to miss out. Just click it. Nothing can happen. You have your antivirus installed. You have other mechanism. You have banks that have been protected through MFA and whatnot. Yet, that is the way. And this is the reason why phishing is always number one. We also seen impersonation and spoofing, and I believe this is also related to all the deepfake videos, images, audio that has happening. Fraud side, job scam, and of course you've seen business image compromise is always there, and love scam is also something that, even though it's that not that many in terms of the incident being reported, but love scam, at least to my knowledge, to a certain extent, has also contributed a lot in terms of money is being lost. People are so lonely these days. You're working out so late, Life is just so lonely, right? And, you just need some partners. And this is how love scam started. They know people profile you. Don't you ever think that you are actually safe? I don't have Facebook. I only have IG. I only use WhatsApp. I don't use Telegram. I don't do that. I don't do this. And people don't profile you. But what you probably don't know is that every one of us are probably being profiled already. People know what you are looking at. You Google about, the new, handbags probably, maybe the new smartwatch that is happening. All these things are being profiled. People know what you are doing, even though you are not doing it. You are just scrolling your tablet, your mobile phone, but you are being profiled. People know what are your interests. Where do you go? Where do you shop? What you are looking to buy. And this is where things like, let's buy this, let's buy that. And people also know that you're probably lonely because you go to all the sites, asking things around, seeking advice, how do I combat my feeling and things like that. So these are being profiled. And this is the reason why people got scammed. Love scam, for example, not that many, but it happens. 2 weeks back, I got people calling me that they've just been scammed about 49,000 ringgit. It's a sad thing that happened, and we're not talking about anybody that don't know about security. People talking that we are talking about people that probably know, let's not click on anything, be very cautious. But we are all vulnerable at one point of time. One day, there are points that we are so down, so lonely, and yet we are vulnerable. Or probably we just have so much money to spend, we don't know what to buy, but people know that you want to buy certain things, they send you that link from your IG, from your TikTok and whatnot. So why this continue to happen? Definitely there are a number of factors, as you can see. Nonetheless, I would like to focus on probably two things. The exploit people vulnerability. So we talked just now about how people are being scammed because you are vulnerable at a certain point of time. You're always the weakest link. You've heard this so many times. There's nothing new about it. But in today's world, since you are being profiled, people know where you want to go. People know your next move, your intention, your feelings. You share your feelings, right? You put your emoji, you're sad, and things like that. Don't you ever believe that these are not being profiled. These are all your data that have been taken, and people are profiling about it. So when you are vulnerable, people will exploit you, and that's why this is continue to happen. And we are not talking about you in this room alone. We are talking about the whole Malaysians, the whole citizens, the netizens. That's why the numbers keep increasing. Not we are all safe here. Inshallah, we are all safe because we know, we are smart people. We study things. We probably don't have that formal attitude, things like that. We are probably not lonely. We have a very charming, loving families, waiting us when we go home and things like that. But we are thinking about like 0.001% of the whole population here. A lot more people out there can become the targets, and that's what happened. That's why I said it's a planned thing. It's coming and it's going to be here. It's not by chance. It's actually been planned. And the other thing is that when we talk about organizations, what we need to know is about the exploitation of your vulnerabilities. Let's talk a bit about this week. Sonic Wall VPN has been compromised. I mean, how many people are using that VPN solutions? It's just to show that another vector how people exploit things, make you at risk, is by exploiting your organization, the vulnerabilities in your firmware, your software, and whatnot. We talk about, I think 2 weeks back, Cisco releases information, or so it's last week, about 50,000 of your devices are actually critical to exploits. They are so vulnerable, can be exploited like a zero-day kind of thing. So there are lots of things that are happening. We talk about lots of VPN these days are being exploited because for whatever reason, they are the key target. Because if people want to attack organizations, they know that big organizations like you are being protected. They need the VPN. They need that credentials. But credentials is one thing, which is exploiting the people. The other thing they know, they can exploit also the firmware, the hardware as well. Because hardware and software, firmware, always have their zero-day thing. Always need to be updated. And we talked about this, I think I've been in this industry for many, many years, probably more than 25 years now. This is the same thing that we talked maybe 25 years ago. So it's the same thing. And that's why they continue to happen. So there are more things I want to share as well. And this is some of the samples to show about fraud cases, about the cleaning service, fraud mobile application, people are trying to attract you. We have this service to clean stuff, and then the moment you download and start communicating, you are being profiled, people are stealing information from you and whatnot. It's a common thing. It looks so valid. It looks so real, and especially these days with all this AI-driven, it looks even more real. Maid cleaning service is one example. There are a lot more applications that are being used, are also having the same risk as well. So a bit of modus operandi, actually, if you go through the slide, how you got cornered because you know the service. See, this is an example that I should just know that people profile you. People know that probably you have a lot of things to do. You need to clean your house. And you're looking for a cleaning service. And then, come into your IG or TikTok or whatever, you click, I need to clean this. And then that information goes right to your mobile, and they steal the information. Okay, let's do this, or do all this. They're probably monitoring all the transactions you are doing and whatnot. Coming back to the cases that I told you earlier about a friend of mine that lost about 49,000 ringgit. What happened is that he's buying a smart tag, and at about I think 80 ringgit. And it's cheap, right? I think if you want to buy, probably it's still available for more than 200 ringgit. So what happened is that, a very high level thing, he said that he just got it from the Facebook, and then it's cheap, it seems very valid, so he started to pay, he started going inside, and when he wanted to pay, then they asked for a deposit of 15 ringgit or something like that. And to do this deposit, so that you can claim this 80 ringgit smart tag, they give you a link. But at that time, being you are so vulnerable, I need this smart tag. I cannot be queuing at the RFID anymore. RFID is so long queue. If you look at today's traffic, RFID is just so long. So smart tag is always probably a better thing. But anyway, you're already being bought. You are sold. I'm sold. I want to buy this smart tag, 80 ringgit. But let's do a bit of 15 ringgit deposit first. Click this link. Clicking that link is where it started. So you're giving that consent, it mimicking close to the popular bank, something happened, but you already being sold. You know, I want to buy this, I have all these other countermeasures. And there goes, I think, the credit card being used, some saving being transferred, just like that. And it's not within days, it's not within minutes, and he realized, and that's it. And that's how scam happened, right? Another scam example about the doing harsh pilgrimage, people lost money as well, things that are not there. But you see, this is an example that we all know. I'm sure you heard about the case of warga emas that are being scammed about this as well. So we as Muslims, we wanted to go to Hajj, to Makkah, right? And it's a dire need that I don't have that much money, I'm saving, I want to go. But somehow you have this advertisement or link that, is this so real that it is cheap, I can guarantee you visa and whatnot, and definitely, one way or the other, you kind of believe that. So that's where, and they're doing this for millions of people, so one way or the other, people will get scammed as well. And I don't have that much time. I want to go to other things as well. It's important about some of the measures that can be done in terms of strengthening. Regulation is always there, and it's never go away. It's very important, but you also have to remember that technology moves faster than regulations, so a bit of balance is very important. So sorry, I'm a bit. Okay, so let's talk about this. Don't become a victim of fraud. You can see all this. Nonetheless, as I mentioned before, this is even though we are very, very careful one way or the other, we will be vulnerable as well. So let's be very cautious all the time. We all wanted to use all these technologies because it's good. It makes us more productive, make our life easier, faster. But at the same time, we have to bear in mind that it comes with some risk. So there are many ways we can talk about it. You can Google it as well. You can use ChatGPT as well, asking how best to do it. But these are some of the things that probably can be done as well. A bit of high-level recommendations that can be done for all of us. How can we actually plan and strategize moving forward? Of course, it will not run away from having the right regulatory, all this governance, looking at people as well, and of course, looking at technologies. I have in the slide, if you are so worried about whether you have not, been compromised, you can use this as checking that as well. But there is always another school of thought. This also could be a scam thing if you think that like that. But this has been there for many years as well. And I'd like to talk about what can we do as part of scam, as part of not being scammed, or when you have been scammed. And in Malaysia, we have 997. I'm sure you all know that, but I don't know how many have called this number. So this is one medium that has been introduced for many years. And if you heard the recent budget announcement as well, I think the government has allocated several millions to upgrade and enhance these services, and it's going to be monitored by our Royal Malaysian Police. So this is one thing that needs to be done. It's important, I know that you know this, but it's important for you to impart this to all your colleagues, your family members, your friends, everybody. So we are talking about 34 million Malaysians that need to know this, right? And as part of combating fraud as well in Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have programs. One of the common programs that we've been doing for years is about the Jelajah Anti-Scam Kebangsaan. We've been doing that for more than 10 states now. So we are looking, we just finished one last week in Pahang. We're going to do two more for the rest of the year. This is one of the small efforts that need to be done, and every organization, every companies will need to have similar things as well. Even when you talk about all these digital banks, fraud apps, investment apps, there are ways for us actually to check, but we don't check. Probably we don't know, we don't get aware. But in Bank Negara as well, they have a portal that you can check whether this company is legit or not. The police have the SEMA mule thing to check whether the accounts, the scammer phone number is really scammer or not. You can check all this before doing the next step. Even Securities Commission has a portal to check whether the application is actually a licensed application, a licensed company. So we have all this information at hand that we can check to ensure that before we start investing in something, to avoid being scammed, being fraud, we can actually check. Especially now with so many applications that talk about investing, gold investment. You know, I receive a lot of calls about, and friends forwarding, you know, invest in gold, just click this, you know, easy return and things like that. You know, you're all aware that it's could be scam, but at one stage you will know that, why not, you know, you know, especially it's when on 25th of every month, right? You got the salary, right? Probably I can use some money, invest in gold, and we have friends doing that already. So these are the things that we need to do and check, you know, to be sure that we are not going to get scammed that easily. Okay, I'm going to be faster. I just want to share some of the. I just realized I probably have 7 more minutes before that. These are some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Again, we are talking about best practices in cyber resilience, creating a culture of cybersecurity. I think this is very common. You've seen this everywhere. Another important aspect is that I would like to impart here is that about collaboration. There's nothing that you can do it on your own. You need to collaborate. You need to collaborate with your partners, your vendors, your suppliers. Even if you are secure, they may not. So the whole ecosystem is not complete. Hence, it's not secure. So you have to ensure that everybody in your ecosystems are secure as well. So this is something that I would like to share about a report analysis that we have compiled based on 7 reports. The M-Trends 2025, which is the Mandarin report, the World Economic Forum, the State of Cybersecurity by Checkpoint, the Global Threat Report by CrowdStrike, IBM X-Force, Verizon, and Fortinet. It is also funny to see that, you know, some of these companies have lots of zero decision as well, right? They're being the victim as well by themselves. But the point is that this report talks about the landscape that what we've seen last year, which is pretty similar that we have talked the last 30 minutes. You see, the attacks has been increased in terms of scale, speed, and whatnot. It's very sophisticated, and the attack surface is expanding. This is what I mentioned earlier, that we talk about all the 97% of Malaysians are connected. So the surface is more open now. So people can attack you more than ever before. And we're talking about the vulnerabilities as well as the espionage thing. So the last but not least is on about the ransomware that remains dominant throughout the year and moving forward. And again, when we talk about ransomware, as I mentioned, it probably not by coincidence. These are probably the bad guys' planning and strategy. 10 years back, we're talking about advanced persistent threats. Lots of products are selling APT solutions. And yet APT are known to be just dormant, striking when they want, collecting information and whatnot. Big companies will have the solution. Small companies, they don't. So But your data, your information are being owned also by your suppliers, your vendors. So they know what you are doing as well. And along the years, they can craft their plans. They know that you're probably high in the stock market or you have very high profile of your company. So they know all your data. They are profiling the company. All these information are available in the other side of the internet. So you are there one way or the other. It's a matter of time when you're going to get striked. So ransomware is a big thing. It's very disrupting. It's not only disrupting our work, operations, it's also disrupting or causing loss of life as well. Last year, ransomware attack in UK, impacting hospitals, ICUs, some fatalities as well. So it's just important to know. Enough about that. Just a bit sharing about the current initiative within the countries. We talk about the Cybersecurity Act, and I'm sure if you are here, you're probably very much aware of the RMIT as well. And it's important that based on the budget announcement last week, that the Prime Minister has announced also that the country or NACSA is going to be doing, we're going to have a cybercrime bill as well coming for next year. And number of I would say budget has been put forward as well as part of that. So before I end, I would like to also share what we do in Cybersecurity Malaysia. So we have our own framework that we deliver alongside people, process, and technology. From the people side, we have our own training program. We have our CyberSafe, security awareness for everyone, and which is an annual thing, ongoing thing has been happening. We have Cyber Guru platform that offers a number of modules training for all organizations, any kind of subject matter. And we also have Global A certification that focus on professionals, security professionals, serious practitioners that want to pursue and enhance, expand their knowledge. We have that as well. Again, I mentioned earlier about our Jelajah Anti-Scam Malaysia. This is where we go around the country promoting awareness, creating awareness for all walks of life. They are participating through collaborations with the state government, private sectors, and also public sectors. We do, as you probably have heard, our MyCert services, our digital forensic services, and a lot more things actually. And we have our own accredited labs that do lots of security testing. We tested against the international standard like common criteria that have international recognition. We have our cryptographic lab that will talk about testing algorithms against the standards like the FIPS labs. And now we also focus on the quantum safe migration. High level, we talk about all these quantum computing issues and mitigations. And having said that, I think it's just important to conclude. I have about one minute left. And I think part of the thing that I want to conclude today is that when it comes to resilience, you have to see that resilience is now the new ROI. It's the new return of investment. So whatever you're investing today and what you're going to be getting as ROI, that's investment. So we're talking about profit in terms of financial terms. And we also know that the next 10 years were probably going to be shaped by the likes of artificial intelligence, its risks, its benefits, and also quantum computing, as well as an open finance practice. Human intelligence remains our strongest firewall. Like it or not, we are so vulnerable, yet we are actually the strongest firewall. So I hope with this about 45-minute session, we all can gain some valuable insights, having the right food for thoughts as part of taking it back and have it shared among your colleagues and environment moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, in a world where threat actors evolve faster than regulations, resilience is no longer optional, it's actually a survival. With that, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Technologies, Wan Roshaimi, for that thought-provoking session. And it is a clear call for the industry to stay agile, vigilant, and united in strengthening our financial resilience against an ever-changing cyber landscape.